We're back to the Neil Haley Show. I'm excited first to welcome my co-host Sherrie from Storehouse Media Group. How are you, Sherrie? And I know you're excited about our guest.
I am. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. So we're gonna welcome Nick Stahl to the program. Nick, thanks for stopping by, man. And it's got to feel great whenever a new project comes out, right?
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. It does. Yeah, I'm excited about this movie coming out on Friday. So thank you guys for having me to talk about it.
All right, go ahead, Sherrie. First question.
Yeah. So the movie is called What You Wish For. And I saw the trailer and oh my goodness, it really got me. It was mystery, it was suspense and everything. So, Nick, tell us what the premise of this movie is.
Oh, sorry, say that one more time. Sorry.
What is the premise of this movie?
The premise, yeah. So it's about a guy who is kind of having some troubles. So he's running away from some gambling debt, and he goes down to South America to kind of hide out, and he sees an old friend who he was in culinary school with, and his friend's life looks a whole lot better than his, and it looks very kind of glamorous, and he's flown around the world to cook for a lot of rich people, basically, and he's got a lot of money, and through a series of circumstances, he ends up sort of taking over his friend's job, and it's the life that looked really great. Is actually there's a kind of a dark side to it, and there's this price that that he ends up having to pay, So it's sort of got kind of a grass is always greener sort of it's kind of a morality tale, So
Absolutely, and it's something that people are. A lot of people are hitting rock bottom based on being kind of tested, right? Put in positions where they didn't know where they were at and just living the lifestyle with not thinking what the consequences are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think this character kind of sees kind of the outside, the outside stuff, and his life is in such a bad place that anything kind of looks better than his in that moment. But the job his friend has, it turns out to be there's something much darker that's kind of lurking under the surface, and so this character Ryan kind of discovers that as he goes along. So yeah.
Yeah,
Got it.
kind of like the Hotel California, you can check in, but you can't leave, right? Because when I watched the trailer, which was fast moving, it was action packed, it was like, oh my gosh, kind of a thing. It was like, I sit there and I wonder, because I love backstories as a writer, what got you interested in playing that role?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the role was really relatable. I mean, it's hard to know how you'll react in any given situation until it happens, but I think that the choices he makes are pretty relatable. I think a lot of people will identify with the guy, but I just like the themes that the movie had. It's kind of about the movie's kind of about envy and greed and ambition, and these things that I think make the character probably relatable to a lot of people. So.
Well, you think about the envy and greed because what we're seeing on social media all the time is either real drama or a lifestyle that everyone wishes they could live. So when they are presented that, even though it's not the best presentation for them and there's no other options, they're like, I'm going for it.
Yeah, and we also I think live in like especially with social media, just this age of things are very like image based. It's sort of about seem to be about appearances. you don't see many, like, people's bad times posted on Instagram, right? Um, you see all the good stuff, right? And so most people's lives, they don't really look like that, you know. You're seeing the highlights, you know. Um, so yeah, I think on the surface somebody can get seduced by the idea of a certain life or what it looks like, but there's always balance, you know. So
Yeah, there is balance. Nick, it reminds me of literally when I watch, I'm going back into professional wrestling. Someone's doing a documentary on me, but I'm watching some of these guys now after I was like, you know what? That was one reason I got out is because of the drug use and also just kind of they were just killing themselves in the ring. To some of the guys died that I wrestled with, right? And now I'm seeing the same thing happening again. And I'm like, why are these guys putting themselves in such danger for a 1 or 2 year run? You see it in sports too, Nick, right? And all these things where they put
mhm,
their life on the line for only a certain point of time just to have that
right,
fame. And then they don't know about the rest of their life they're going to have to live.
yeah. Um, I think it's yeah, it's very like very short sighted, right? It's short term profits, short term gains, but everything has there's definitely consequences to all these actions. There's a price that's paid for it. So,
Yeah.
and that's very similar to, yeah, that's exactly what this character goes through in the movie for sure.
Yeah, the grass is always greener, right? Until you get there, and there's a price to be paid. And you're so right, talking about social media, people are gonna show you what they want you to know about them, and they don't see the bad side. So this movie
Yeah,
is coming out on May 31st, which is just a few days away. And, people, it's in theaters, it's on demand, it's being, streamed everywhere. So, what do you hope people, when they get through watching that movie, they walk away with? What message do you want them to have?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a really well made film. I'm really proud of it. It's kind of got this old school throwback, like thriller kind of Hitchcock vibe going on. Um, and I think it's somewhat unpredictable. Um, and it's really really smartly written. But overall, I think it's a really fun movie. So I hope people just have a good time watching it. That's my hope. So
And people always like, thrillers and keep you on your seat. That's the kind of stuff people want to live, especially if they're going through not the best of times. To be entertained for, a certain amount of time is what you guys are here for. And we're glad you're back. You know, that's the biggest thing is during that
yeah,
strike, that was so hard, man. It was hard for you, but it was hard for me. And now we're all
right.
facing the problem with not much content out there. So whenever there's great content, it feels great, right? It's coming out.
Very true. Yeah. No, and we filmed this a couple of years ago, so it was before the strike. But I was, yeah. No, I feel really really fortunate that we had this, you know, um, done and ready to release. But yeah, this definitely. I just expected it to be a lot busier after the strike ended. To be honest with you,
It's
I
not
think a
there
lot of
yet.
people.
And that's because, Nick, there's stuff going on in the back end that we don't know. And you don't know, and I don't know. And we got to find out, right?
Yeah, it definitely seems like there's a lot less content, and I don't. Yeah, I think you're right. It's hard to put your finger on the reason exactly, but the good thing I guess is things come in cycles. I think I'm sure it's bound to change in some way. We know that, right? So
Something's going to happen. There's going to be somebody who energizes what happens, and somebody's going to see an opportunity because content is king. And the more content you have, the better. And what's if people keep, waiting instead of going after it, it's big. So best place, Nick, what's new with you? Any other projects you have going on that you can tell us about?
Yeah, so I did a couple films in the last 6 months. One of them I just finished in Oklahoma City. It's called Keep Quiet. It's a Native American story, and the one before that is this kind of like little crime drama called Violent Ends that I did in Arkansas about 6 months back. So those will be probably festival films, and yeah, that's what I got. So
All right. We appreciate it, Nick. Again, in
Exciting.
theaters Friday and on demand. What You Wish For. Appreciate it, sir. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks,
sure.
Nick.
Much,
All right.
guys.
All right. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show. We'll be back in just a moment.